It was this past Friday, November 4th. One of the most legendary journalists, producers, writers in World War II that's passed away. This icon was Andy Rooney of 60 Minutes, most famously known for his conclusion of every 60 Minutes broadcast titled A Few Moments with Andy Rooney. Now, Rooney certainly had a large impact on the viewers of 60 Minutes. His essays often made viewers upset, extremely mad, not in agreement, laugh, made him happy, but most importantly and above all, it made him think. It's very rare in this day and age to find an individual that will convey their own beliefs and views to the entire nation, frequently, actually over 1,000 times in 30 years. He was not noticed for his mastering journalism and writing. He won 3 Emmys in his life, 1 Lifetime Achievement Award, and 1 proving there was no Mrs. Smith behind Mrs. Smith's pies. He also won Peabody Award, 3 Writers Guild Awards, amongst others. The best way to understand how Rooney became the icon he is or was today, take a look at his younger days back during World War II when he was drafted into the U.S. Army as a private. It was 1 year after that. He was working in London for a newspaper column called Stars and Stripes, which I'm sure a lot of people know about. It was this fact, him landing that position, that gave him the opportunity to be one of 6 correspondents to join in on the second American bombing raids of Germany. And shortly after, he was the first ever correspondent to enter the newly liberated concentration camps and report back the atrocities in which he found. Now, obviously, he has stated, and others have, the war had a profound effect on his views and everything. And they quote, "The war had a profound effect in shaping my experiences as a writer and reporter," according to Walter Cronkite, who Rooney met during the war and who would become his closest friend at CBS. Now, how did Rooney get this position? Well, he bumped into the legendary Arthur Godfrey of CBS Radio on an elevator and told him he's showing he's better writing. Godfrey hired him. Well, Rooney's career with CBS was full of controversy. He won his 3rd Writers Guild Award for the work on a new special essay on war. This achievement was not all recognized by CBS. They found it very morally questioning, controversial, and even offensive. When they went air it, he resigned, and it was broadcast on PBS 3 days later. And he went to work at ABC. But this is not what I want to focus on, more so his career with CBS. In '72, he finally returned, again working for 60 Minutes as a narrator, producer, writer for a series of news broadcasts about aspects of American life. But it wasn't until 1978 in which he landed his role as the staple of Sunday night news television. His first commentary was about 4th of July weekend and how he was discussing by the radio death statistics of car accidents during the holiday. This was just his first of over 1,000 essays he broadcasted across the nation. As I say, prior topics were often controversial. And in 1990, he actually was suspended for 3 months after making a remark that, and I quote, "Too much alcohol, food, drugs, cigarettes, and homosexual unions lead to a premature death." Controversial, decide for yourself. Although he was reinstated fully to his position within 4 weeks because of the ratings of 60 Minutes had plummeted by 20%. Very large following. Although he made racist remarks, in the 40s he was arrested for protest. He was back of a segregated bus, blacks only bus, which I guess you would call it back then. Is he racist? I don't know. Aside from racial remarks, controversial remarks on his commentaries were definitely the most well-known. One such as Kurt Cobain's suicide at age 27 really pissed him off, Mr. Rooney off, because he had no clue who he was, and it got more attention than Richard Nixon's death did. There were these type of topics which made its conclusion in 60 Minutes, one of the highlights of the show, if not the highlight. In 03, he snagged his Lifetime Achievement Emmy, being recognized for his influence on Americans and mastering the field of journalism. On October 2nd of this year, he delivered his 1097th and final essay, telling viewers, and I quote, "I've done a lot of complaining here, but of all of the things I've complained about, I cannot complain about my life." Following his death, 60 Minutes did not replace him with another essayist. Perhaps the ultimate compliment, said Bob Leitch in Review Essay Today, who interviewed him. Rooney certainly had a large impact on the viewers of 60 Minutes and had a large following. He made people realize things that they thought or even knew about but never spoke of. He will never be replaced by CBS. One could assume 60 Minutes will never again be the same and will lose a large percent of their viewers due to his passing. Rooney thought of himself not as a TV personality, but as a writer who merely appeared on television. And few topics were ever off limits for him. He clearly had an ability to convey his personal viewpoints to the American viewers with ease and style. He spent his first 30 years trying to become a famous writer and the last 20 trying to not be famous. Andy said in the interview 1 month prior to his death, "All the things I have gotten paid to say is what I think on television, and no one can be luckier than that." Again, shortly before his death, he said, "The single luckiest thing that ever happened to me was being drafted in the Army, and in 1942 landing a position as a reporter for Stars and Stripes.